The starving time, America's cannibal past. You think you know how America began, brave pilgrims, the first Thanksgiving, a story of struggle and survival. But sit tight, because the truth buried for over 400 years is a nightmare that would shame any horror film. This is the story of Jamestown, the first permanent English colony in America. But it wasn't built on courage. It was built on cannibalism. A hill of their own making in 1607, 100 for English settlers landed in Virginia. But they weren't survivalists or pioneers. They were wealthy, ill-prepared fortune seekers. They chose a swamp for their fort, surrounded by disease, mosquitoes, and toxic water. They didn't know how to farm, hunt, or even live. The local Powhatan tribe was cautious but traded at first. But with increasing English aggression, relations collapsed. Starvation madness in the winter of 1609 to 1610 came the starving time. First, they ate their horses, then dogs, then cats, then rats. When even those were gone, they boiled their leather shoes. Of 500 settlers, only 60 survived the winter. Governor George Percy recorded something horrifying. Greater than people licked the blood of their dying companions from the ground. Dead were dug from graves and eaten. Jane, the forensic breakthrough in 2012, archaeologists found her Jane, a 14-year-old English girl buried among butcher dog bones. Her skull had tentative, hesitant cuts. Someone tried to carve out her face. Her remains weren't buried, they were discarded with trash. It wasn't ritual, it was hunger. The man who assaulted his wife, one man crossed all limits. He murdered his pregnant wife, cut the unborn child from her womb and threw it in the river. Then he salted her flesh and ate it. He was caught mid-meal, confessed under torture, and was burned alive as punishment. Captain John Smith later wrote, greater than whether he was roasted, stewed, or barbecued, I know not, but never heard of a salted wife before. America's buried secret: when supply ships arrived in May 1610, they didn't find a thriving colony. They found 60 skeleton-like survivors. The colony was about to be abandoned, but reinforcements came just in time. So why was this story never told? Because it destroys the myth of noble beginnings. It's easier to talk about pilgrims than a teenage girl whose face was eaten. Civilization is a fragile mask, and hunger can strip it away. Remember Jane. Remember the salted wife. Remember the colony that had to eat itself to survive.